Prior to a normal takeoff, the flaps and slats are extended to approved takeoff settings, and the takeoff speeds are scheduled for the desired takeoff configuration by reference to information in the performance section of the airplane's flight manual. On its takeoff roll, the airplane lifts off the runway only when the liftoff speed is sufficient for the wing to produce the necessary lift and there is a sufficient margin above stalling speed. The airplane continues to accelerate and fly away safely. Prior to Flight 225's takeoff, the flight crew determined the speed schedule for the desired takeoff configuration, but did not extend the flaps or slats to that setting. On Flight 225's takeoff roll, when the airplane achieved the intended liftoff speed, the speed was too low for the wing to develop sufficient lift. The airplane's nose was raised, increasing the wing's angle of attack and allowing the wing to produce more lift. However, the angle of attack was increased to the point where the wing stalled and no longer provided sufficient lift. In addition to a reduction in lift, the unsteady aerodynamics associated with wing stall caused the airplane to enter uncommanded rolling motions. The rolling motions further reduced the upward component of the wing's lift, causing the airplane to descend more rapidly until it eventually struck the ground. This illustration depicts the ability of a wing to produce aerodynamic lift as the wing's angle of attack changes. Aerodynamic lift is represented by a non-dimensional coefficient, CL. When the airplane is properly configured for takeoff and is flying at the scheduled takeoff safety speed, V2, the wing's angle of attack is well below the angle of attack where wing stall occurs. The amount of lift produced by a wing is a function of airspeed and the wing's angle of attack. For example, to maintain level flight while reducing airspeed, the wing's angle of attack must be increased to produce the necessary lift. However, if the airspeed continues to decrease and the angle of attack is increased further, the wing will stall. Flaps and slats are extended for takeoff and landing to, in part, reduce stall speeds. The lower stall speeds allow lower flight speeds, which result in shorter takeoff or landing distances. During Flight 255's takeoff, the speed schedule used was for flaps and slats extended. However, the flaps and slats were not extended for takeoff and remained in the up and retracted positions respectively. On the lift curve, this meant that, at the scheduled V2 speed, the wing would stall at a lower angle of attack and generate less lift than would have been produced with the flaps and slats extended. This was significant for Flight 255 because on takeoff, the wing reached its stall angle of attack and was not able to generate sufficient lift. While on the ground, the DC-982's takeoff warning system compares the flap setting entered into the takeoff condition computer with the flap-slat lever position to determine if the flaps and slats were properly set for takeoff. On the accident airplane, when either of the two throttle levers moves forward and reaches the activation threshold, the takeoff warning will sound. This illustration depicts the mechanical linkage between a throttle lever and the switch box that activates the takeoff warning. As a throttle lever moves forward from the idle stop and reaches approximately 33% of full travel, the takeoff warning will activate if the flap setting in the takeoff condition computer does not agree with the flap-slat lever position. The takeoff warning will continue to sound as long as the throttle lever position is at or forward of the activation point. Takeoff warning activation is dependent only on throttle lever position, not engine power setting. The following video was taken in a DC-982 flight simulator to demonstrate activation of the takeoff warning. The simulator was configured for takeoff. A flap setting of 11 degrees was entered into the takeoff condition computer, but the flap-slat lever remained in the up retract position. The takeoff warning system detects the disagreement between the flap setting in the takeoff condition computer and the flap slat lever position. As the pilot begins the simulated takeoff, he advances the throttle levers to approximately 33% of full travel, and the takeoff warning activates.
Flap. Flap.
Notice that the voice warning sequentially identifies each system that is not properly configured for takeoff. In this demonstration, only the flaps and slats are not configured properly. The takeoff warning continues as the pilot advances the throttle levers to the takeoff power setting and ceases when the throttle levers are pulled back to a position aft of the activation point. The DC-982 Supplemental Stall Recognition System, or SSRS, is a stall identification device. The SSRS announces to the pilots that the stall angle of attack has been reached and that there is no more safety margin. The SSRS warning remains active until the stall condition no longer exists. The SSRS warning is composed of an aural alert consisting of a series of tones, followed by a vocal enunciation of the word stall, and a visual alert provided by two illuminated stall lights that are located in front of each pilot. In this video, you will view a simulated stall condition from the pilot's seat. When the SSRS activates, you will also notice the illumination of a white light to the right of the stall light. This light is also a switch, and when illuminated, indicates that the pilot may inhibit the operation of the post-stall recovery system, that is, the stick pusher, if desired, by pushing the light.
Stall.